Tade Kash. Tade Kash is a world-class cash flow entrepreneur and investor, a super wealth coach, legendary closer, and an educator. He's the co-founder of more than 5 cash-rich businesses and believes that assets should be predictable, consistent, and perpetual income that funds our lifestyle. It shows individuals, companies, and nations how to unlock the hidden assets that would create perpetual, consistent, and predictable prosperity for them. He's the creator of the Short and Sell program and the Money Mastery program. He's the author of Shut Up and Collect the Money, the Money Mastery Revolution, Build Assets, Not Just a Business, as well as the Wealth Genotype. Ladies and gentlemen, join me as we welcome on stage Tade Kash.
Wonderful Sunday evening. This is Sunday Cashflow service, and I'm your favorite and rich host, Tade Kash. It's here again, Sunday, the 20th of February, 2022. It's been awesome. The year has been moving, the year has been going on. A couple of things have been happening, and I can tell you, have you been scoring your goals? Like my mentor would say, have you been, someone would say, have you been smashing the goals? Whatever it is, guys, you need to know that you have one life. And this life that you have, if you live it well, it's more than enough. And it's awesome. It's awesome to be here with you again today. And I can promise you, it's going to be another awesome moment. Oh, by the way, today happened to be one of the days my wife and I celebrate 19th of February and 21 of February, so we supposed to start celebrating yesterday, and then I decided to celebrate it today, so the point is, I've been married for a while now, all right, couple of years, do I think or I know? 8 years down the line. So my true goddess, Atinoke Kash, I celebrate you. I dedicate today's program to you. All right. Always know this rugged, ruthless guy loves you. Yeah. Sometimes I have a beast mode. My wife will say sometimes, "Are you sure you're romantic?" No, I am. It's just like you need to do what you gotta do, my man. All right. So this is awesome. This is beautiful. It's another wonderful Sunday evening right here in the studio with my dude, my guy, my rugged G, man, by the name of George. I call him George, the camera guy, George, the digital guy, George, the youngest teens millionaire on the continent. Just watch out for that guy. He's gonna be everywhere, everywhere you want to be. He's gonna take you there. So tonight, we're going to look at something very interesting, and I'm going to be sharing a few stories with you. And some of you have never heard a story like this today. By the way, today is the second version and second edition of the Education of the Rich. And by the way, in case you don't know, I wish I have some symbol in the studio today. Today is the 10th edition of Cashflow Sunday Cashflow service. Wow, it's been full of consistent, my schedule seems to be quite busy, and even sometimes coming to the studio is not always easy. I often feel like, come on, man, maybe you just can't say it today. But my producer will not. I just feel like, man. But that's a power of consistency. The first thing I need to tell you before we go further today, and if there's anything you need to learn, anything you need to pick up from me today, is this: consistency is always being treated as competence. All right. Many a time there are many people that have competency, but they don't have consistency. And every time consistency will trump brilliance. So if you are brilliant and you are not consistent, guess what happened to you? You're not going to get to do a lot of things. Consistency is a superpower. So if you want to do something, you just got to do it. Many a time you don't feel like it, but you need to keep doing it. You need to keep doing it. One of my mentors said this to me. Many a time you need to keep getting bad at it for you to get good at it. Huh? You need to keep doing badly before you can get good at it. So it's important. It's important that you know this. It's important that you understand these things. Now, what are the education of the rich? You see, We started a series yesterday, and I introduced you into the education of the rich that you can buy the program. A couple of people have signed up for the program, and they're already enjoying the program. And I cannot tell you that you can also be part of that program. It's a lifetime program. You can have it and listen to it again and again. Now, let me take you on a journey today. One of the things that the wealthy people do, one of the educations of the rich that I want you to learn today, and this is going to make a lot of difference in your life, is that if you want to be rich, you need to surround yourself with riches. Hello. One of the things that I learned growing up from my billionaire mentors is how he helped me to see this. One of the man I've studied my life called is smelling the leather. What does that mean? Many of you are grown up. Many of us grew up in an environment that has nothing like luxury. Many of us grew up in an environment that has nothing like affluence. Many of us grew up in an environment that have nothing that depict prosperity. So what happened to you? You always believe that money is tight. You always believe that everything is hard. Now, one of my friends the other day told me that he's having a meeting with someone. And he told me somewhere around the mainland of Lagos, the capital city, Ikeja. And when he told me, he asked me whether I was in the office. It was happened to be on Saturday, but I was not. And I said something to him that I'm about to say to you. You would like to hear it. Just pay attention to this. You pay attention to what I say to him. It's going to help you. I said this to him. I said, guy, while you're waiting for the meeting, just go to the four-star hotel around there and just chill and just enjoy yourself. When my friend got into that place, guess what he did? After chilling for a while, he decided to do video, and a lot of people even started viewing the videos he was shooting because you need to smell the leather. The first thing, one of the things that the wealthy people do is they surround themselves with in a good environment. You need to surround yourself with good things. You need to fill your mind. If you can't say there is plenty of money around if you have not seen plenty of money around. Hello. You can't say there's plenty of money around if you have not seen plenty of money around. So if you live in an environment where money seems to be scarce, guess what you do? You should get out of the place once most of the time to places where you can see money around. All right. Do you understand what I just said to you now? You see, you can't believe there is plenty of money around if you have not seen plenty of money around. So what do you need to do? You need to get out of the environment that you are if you have not seen plenty of money around. So if you have not seen plenty of money around, just get out of where you are and go do it. You know, 1 minute, just 1 minute, guys.
Tade Kosh is a world-class cash flow entrepreneur and investor, a super wealth coach, legendary closer, and an educator. He's a co-founder of more than 5 cash-rich businesses and believes that assets should be predictable, consistent, and perpetual income that funds our lifestyle. It shows individuals, companies, and nations how to unlock the hidden assets that would create perpetual, consistent, and predictable prosperity for them. He is the creator of the Short and Sell program and the Money Mastery program. He is the author of Shut Up and Collect the Money, the Money Mastery Revolution, Build Assets, Not Just a Business, as well as the Wealth Genotype. Ladies and gentlemen, join me as we welcome on stage Tade Kosh.
We need to attend to the very simple technical stuff. Okay, so I am telling you, you need to smell the leather. You need to learn how to smell the leather. Learn to smell the leather. Learn to surround yourself with some things that are good. Learn to surround yourself with some things that are good. Many a time in life, you often think that many things are scarce until you begin to enjoy it. For instance, if you fly economy class now, you always believe that who is going to be flying business class until you start flying business class and you realize that business class is common. I fly business class, by the way. And then one of the things that you see is that most of the time when you board in business class, you find that there are many people that are boarding business class. So what happened? Before that time, you always think You always think there are no, who's gonna go that route, who's gonna get it. Oh, this thing, there's no money. People don't fly business class. People don't drive brand new cars. One of my friends have never, one of my friends have never driven what they call a second-hand car before in his entire life. He has, if you don't have cars, he must have driven more than 7 cars. But everything is brand new. Now the truth is, you need to surround yourself with an environment where you can smell the leather. One of the educations of the rich is that the rich make sure that they educate their mind. That your mind have to see plenty as common. Your mind have to see plenty as what? Common. So that's very key. If your mind doesn't see plenty as common, it's going to affect you because you are going to keep believing that everything is not available, everything is scarce. There is no plenty in your world, but there is so much of plenty on the universe. There is so much of plenty on this planet. And because there's so much plenty on the planet, what you need to do is to need to begin to educate yourself. The rich educate their mind. So you need to educate your mind. The education of the rich begins, you need to start smelling the leather. Ladies and gentlemen, start smelling the leather. Smell the leather. Smell the leather. Smell the leather. Smell the leather. It's important that you smell the leather because it helps you. Now, another thing that the education of the rich does is that education of the rich that focus on what I call the law of the focus on the philosophy. That's called the philosophy. Now, now, this is where I'm going to explain something to you today about the education of the rich, and I think it's going to literally help you. Now, you need to understand the philosophy, the perception of wealth. Continuously, you need to understand the psychology of these things. You need to study it. You need to observe it around you. You need to check out people that are doing successful things. Stop envying them, start imitating them. Stop envying and start emulating. So a lot of people, rather than emulating the wealthy, they want to criticize them. And as a result of that, because some people don't want to be criticized, they end up not optimizing their chances of succeeding. So this is it. You need to develop emotional immunity. If you are not developing emotional immunity to criticism, you are not going to go far in life because you are going to develop guilt in your heart because you feel guilty being. You are going to block wealth from flowing into your life. So what do you need to do, right? You need to begin to develop the understanding that somebody's responsibility. Somebody being broke, a business not selling, a business closing down around you. You are never responsible for it. That this is key. This is fundamental. This is very essential. So you need to develop a philosophy of seeing abundant around you. You need to develop the philosophy, the perception of seeing that everything you seek is in. You need to develop that. Now, this is the law. Is a law. I call it the law of philosophy. So many a time, a lot of people never have the philosophy that governs their life. So let me quickly tell you this and listen to this. You need to listen to this because it's going to help you. I invest. I'm a professional. I'm a professional investor, and this is what happened in the early days of my career. Without learning the education of the rich, guess what I did? I just invest randomly. But after a few years of investing, I'm burning my fingers. Guess what happened? I started learning from my mentor and started studying deeply. And I realized that every wealthy person, every professional investor, everyone that has created abundant and massive wealth through investing have one thing in common. They have a philosophy that governs the investment. So they don't follow the crowd, they follow their philosophy. They don't follow the crowd, they follow their plan. So this is what happened. What philosophy governs your life? The rich, part of the education of the rich is the philosophies that governs your life. You need to have a philosophy that governs what you do with your money. You see, someone will come to you and tell you, I had a pastor talk today and it's quite interesting. This is what they say, and you like to hear this. Pastor said many a time people will come to you and they will tell you, make this investment. It's going to give you 58%, 100%. You know what happened? People rush into those things because they do not have a philosophy that governs their investment. So people then combine ignorance with greed. Now, when ignorance and greed are combined, it creates an explosive destruction. So this is what happened when ignorance and greed are combined. It creates what we call explosive destruction. So a lot of time, this is what a lot of people do. What philosophy governs your life? Look at it again. What philosophy governs your life? So there is a lot of books out there. There is a lot of books out there. So, but this is a you can't hit philosophy. So after the law of philosophy, after being clarifying the perspective, another thing that in the education of the rich is what we call the law of practice. The law of practice means that you cannot eat philosophy. Philosophy cannot pay your school fees. Philosophy cannot pay your house rent. So that's why there are many people today that sound very rich. Have you not wonder? Have you not wonder many people that teaches sales but can't sell? All right, they learn the philosophy of selling, but they never practice selling. So there are many people there are many people that speak about prosperity, but they are experiencing austerity in their life. Now, look at it. Every successful, every truly wealthy person have bias to action. All right. So you must have bias to action. So there are many people in this age of information, in this age where you can Google it and then you can get a lot of information. You can even download a lot of books online for free. A lot of books online for free. So you can develop an amazing and robust philosophy, but doesn't mean you are going to be rich, because the law of philosophy cannot make you rich without the law of practice. So let me explain something to you. You need to develop practice. Practice is the price you pay for expertise. Practice is the price you pay for proficiency. So, in other words, if you want to be proficient in anything, you have to practice. You see, you have to practice the philosophy for you to develop proficiency in the philosophy so that it can show in your life. So this is it. You can learn a lot of philosophy about how to live healthily, but if you don't practice it, if you don't then practice what the philosophy says, you are still going to die sickly. You are going to live sickly. In other words, it's not enough to be a reader. You must be a doer. Uh-huh. You must be a doer of that philosophy you're learning. So you can read Tade Cash, Real Estate Cash Flow Machine, for instance. You can read my book on Close or Lose, but doesn't you can read my book on money, the money code, and several shut up and collect the money. Oh, but the truth of the matter is, this book is not going to change your life until you choose to change your life by practicing what the book says. So the philosophy, the beginning, many people are broke because of they have an erroneous philosophy. That's number one. But this is it. Even when you have gotten the prosperous philosophy, if you don't practice it, you cannot be proficient at it. So, what are you practicing? Now, this is the second month of the year, and there are a couple of things you have learned this year, but we started practicing. Some people, somebody have said, I'm gonna, I'm gonna start, doing this, something the year 2022. But you have read. Some of you even think you need to do more studies on it, but you have not started practicing it. You need to practice it. Now, let me share a two example with you. I want to talk to you about two persons, and some of you know these people very well. I'm going to mention their name, but you might have not heard a story before like this in your life. But let me tell you, and this is going to help you because it has truly helped me. How many of you have read the book Think and Grow Rich before? Josh, have you read the book Think and Grow Rich before? Oh, yeah. Amazing book, right? Great book. By the way, some people say it's beside the book, beside the Bible, that's one of the books that have been so read in the world. Think and Grow Rich. How many of you have read a man called How many of you have heard of a man called the book Think and Grow Rich was written by a man called Napoleon Hill? An amazing book. I read the book. The first time I heard about the book, I think I was 22. The first time I read the book, I think I was 24. That's roughly about 16 years ago. In other words, that book has been on. That book has literally changed millions of people's lives. By the way, a lot of millionaires today, a lot of multimillionaires in dollars in different parts of the world, especially in America, they are tested to the book Think and Grow Rich. That the two books that changed, one book that changed their life beside the Bible is Think and Grow Rich. But guess what happened? There is a man called Napoleon Hill, and there is a man called Clement W. Stone. By the way, Clement W. Stone and Napoleon Hill wrote another book called, um, we call it Positive Thinking. What name of that book? They wrote one book together. But Clement W. Stone wrote another book called Success System That Never Fails. It owns one of the biggest insurance company in the 20th century, and it's a very wealthy man. But guess one thing I want to tell you about the law of philosophy and the law of practice, and this is one of the amazing principles in the education of the rich that many people. You see, this is what happened. You went to school for 5 years studying economics, and you are still broke. Ladies and gentlemen, what exactly are you studying? You went to school for 5 years and you studied business management and you were still poor. You went to school for 5 years studying accounting and you were still stranded and jobless. Something needs You need to check something out because something is wrong about what you were taught. There is a misrepresentation, there is a misdirection in what you were taught. That is an education of the poor. That is often a time, many a time, education of the middle class. But there is an education of the rich. Guess what happened? There is a man called Napoleon Hill and there is a man called Clement W. Stone. Now, listen to this. Listen to this. Some of you don't know that for many years, Napoleon Hill almost died poor. Now, listen to this. Listen to this. Napoleon Hill almost died poor. Napoleon Hill was extremely broke. Listen to this. Having written one of the most read book in the whole world, just like some people today, they write about prosperity, but they still live in austerity. Napoleon Hill almost died poor. That W. Stone have to come to his rescue. Hello, now listen to this because it's going to help you. And if you could just get this now, I think my job for today must have been completed. Napoleon Hill almost died poor, having written an amazing set of books. He wrote amazing book, Think and Grow Rich, Think and Grow Rich Through Persuasion, Think and Grow Rich with Peace of Mind, Sell Your Way to Wealth, Tell a Way to Riches, and a couple of other books. But do you know that Napoleon Hill almost died poor? Napoleon Hill was broke. Now, what's the difference between Napoleon Hill and W. Stone? If you learn that today, Napoleon Hill that wrote one of the most interesting book. Just like today, many people go to trainings and they teach people and they say they're into sales training and they are broke. Many people claims to be teaching people about prosperity and they are broke. You know why? Because they are violating a law of practice. Now, this is what happened. Napoleon Hill, how did Napoleon Hill come about writing all those books? Napoleon Hill happened to be a journalist that had an encounter with Andrew Carnegie. Andrew Carnegie was an amazing man. Andrew Carnegie was one of the richest men of all time, the steel maker. And then the encounter of Napoleon Hill with Andrew Carnegie. Andrew Carnegie gives him an heads up to interview a couple of people that are doing successfully well in America and they give him a referral, a review, so that he can have access to meet these people. And by so doing, he was able to meet a lot of these people and he chronicled their stories with his journalistic skill into a book called Think and Grow Rich and a couple of other books afterwards. In the course of his life, he was able to put all of these books together. But guess what happened? Napoleon Hill put the philosophies in the book, but Napoleon Hill really practiced the philosophy in the book. Other people pick the book like W. Stone and practice it and build a massive wealth. That at the point in the life of Napoleon Hill that he was so broke that Clement Stone have to come to his rescue. And as a result of that, he has to give him a sales training to train all of his sales team all around America, and so that he can fare a little bit well in his last days. Napoleon Hill will have died poor, extremely poor, if not for W. Clement Stone. Now, Clement Stone says he put a lot of his success, attribute them to Napoleon Hill's book, but what differentiates them? By the way, Napoleon Hill, he wrote the book. It's just like a pastor that preaches to his church members on Sunday morning about success, and he's not looking successful. About success, he's not succeeding himself. In other words, he preaches but never practices. In other words, what happened to you? It's because Napoleon Hill wrote the philosophy, but he never practices the philosophy. No matter what you hear, if you don't practice them, they will never change your life. So, successful people, one of the things that the rich do with their family is to make them practice success. Success is a practice, not success is a practice. You have to be a practitioner of the principles of success. Tell people without no apology, I read the Bible. I base fundamental behaviors of my life around the Bible. And I tell people that Bible is a book of practicals. In other words, I don't read Bible to go to heaven. I read Bible to have an heaven on earth because I know that heaven is a consciousness. So I live for the principles that can make me create an heaven and economy, heaven and life, and I begin to practice it. I read the Bible to change my life. I read the Bible to change me. So when you listen to a wise man, what are you listening for? When you meet people, what are you learning from them? What are you doing with it? You know what? There are many people around that listen to me today. They like hanging around people. I've seen a lot of people who tell me, they will send me mails, they will send me messages and say this and that. And say, Daddy, I would like you to mentor me. Some people just want to hang around you. They want to have what I call a trophy mentor. The mentor is popular. So they will say, I know him, he's my mentor. But that won't change your life. Bill Gates being your mentor won't change your life if you don't practice what Bill Gates says to you. Okay? So you may have read, a lot of you have read a lot of books. That's when someone is saying something and is saying, you can even quote it. And some of you have read a couple of books that you end up saying you want to become a motivational speaker. All right, because you believe you have gone to local stores with a Nigerian print book and you have bought some of the book and you have read them. Sorry for that. If you live outside of Nigeria, in local book, we have some pirated books in this country, and as a result of that, it make it accessible for a lot of people to buy funny, cheap books. But they are still very popular book all around. But the point is, you read all this book, you have them in your head, but it's not in your heart. And it's not become a practice. Let me tell you, nothing will change your life until you change your life. So you need to practice it. It's not about the function of the numbers of books you have read. It's about the size of the action that you apply to what you have read. It's not the number of books you have read. It's the size of the action that you apply to what you have read. Knowledge will not change you if you don't act on it. Knowledge will not change you if you don't act on it. So what are you hearing? Most people have read about saving before, but guess what? They don't save. Most people have heard about investing before. They have read about it. They believe they know it because the problem of our generation, and which you need to understand about the wealthy, education of the rich, that learning, the essence of learning is not knowing. The essence of learning is mastery. This mastery. And what is mastery? Mastery is ability to do something consistently, unconsciously. All right. So that means ability to do something consistently, unconsciously. That means now, for instance, you don't need to think to tie your shoe, all right, your shoelace. Why? Because you have gained mastery over your shoelace. You don't need to think so much to put on your clothes. Why? You have gained mastery in putting on your shoe clothes. You don't need to think so much to brush your teeth in the morning. If you have to think to brush your teeth in the morning, something is happening to you. We need to take you for a treatment. Okay? So listen, you don't need to think so much to get into your shower in the morning and bath. What happened? You are practicing. So that's how you gain mastery. Now you have heard me spoke to you in the last 10 edition and episode of this program. But the question is, what have you done about it? Oh, you're waiting for the 11th edition. You're waiting for the 12th and the 100th edition of this show. And we're going to be bringing all manner of people, well, friends of mine from different parts of the world, and they're going to be speaking to you. At the edition goes on every Sunday evening. But guess what happened? It's not going to change your life, except you change your life. Action set you free. Nothing moves until you move it. In other words, you need to take action. You need to have bias toward action. I mean, a massive action. Two guys are going to attend a seminar and they're going to hear the speaker say something. Many years ago, let me give you this example about the law of practice. Many years ago, a man in Nigeria called Sam Adeyemi, pastor of a church called, what's the name of that church again? Daystar Christian Center. One day he wrote a book, many years ago, he wrote a book called Parable of Dollars. And when he wrote the book called Parable of Dollars, guess what happened? He decided to launch that book, or rather, he decided to do a training on that book in a place in Lagos called National Stadium, Lagos. And he invited a couple of speakers. He invited a man called Sonny Ojagbese of the Complete Sport Publisher. And I got late to that program. A couple of people have spoken. Pastor Sam has spoken. The whole place was filled up. And then when I stepped into the hall with my friend of mine, I heard Sonny Agbaje make only about two or three statements. And out of the three statements he made, I'm not sure I can remember the other two, but I remember one. This is what he said. He said, well, there are some of you here sitting in this hall today that, this book that have been written by Pastor Sam Adeyemi, you may just need to pick it up and sell it to the world. And that's all that I heard. Guess what happened? When I heard that word, in that meeting that day, more than 10,000 people must have seated in that hall. National Stadium, Lagos. Surulere. I listened to that thing and I left that place. And I started ruminating on it. And by Monday morning, I didn't have the money to buy the book. I didn't have the money to sell the book. I didn't have the money to order for the book. But within the space of 4 days, I was able to persuade someone else to give me the money. And I went to the bookstore somewhere in Kudirat Abiola Way. They call it Numa Bookstore. And I bought a copy of that book. And another 1 week, I sold that book. In less than 2 months, I've sold more than 100 or 200 copies of that book. That the church I was attending at the time have to give me the marketer of the month because of the numbers of the book I and my friend sold. But what happened? Somebody shared the philosophy with us. A lot of thousands of people heard what he said, but perhaps few persons in that meeting stood up and acted on it. Your life is not hard to you because things are hard. Life is hard because you are not doing things that will make your life easy. You need to begin to take action on what you know. What you know will not do you good until you see, what you know has a potential to provide a way of escape from your struggling. But the way of escape is open, but for you to come out of it, you need to act on it. So this is it. The law of practice will literally change your life. So what are you practicing, guy? What are you going to change? What have you learned that you have not done anything about? Education of the rate tells you that you need to act. The difference between Napoleon Hill and Clement W. Stone is that Napoleon Hill shared the philosophy, Clement W. Stone practiced the philosophy. The philosophy that Napoleon Hill shared is a philosophy that works, that will work. But this is what I want to ask you. How will you know something will work if you don't practice it? How will you know something will work if you don't act on it? How will you know something will work if you don't go about it? How will you know that a prospect will not pay you if you have not asked him for the money? So the question is, most of you don't even make enough offers. You have learned about offers. You have learned about, some people like to listen. They will come, like to hear rather. They will hear you. They like hearing good things. They will hear you. They will shout. Like some of you that have gone to church today, you would have heard your pastor preach some messages, and some of you, even around in the church, you will say things like this: "Preach on, pastor. Preach on." Josh is in there. Preach on, pastor. They hear you. There are some people that's just it. But guess what? After that, some of you have gone to your church today to go and dance, and after you have danced so much, you are tired. That even when they are sharing what will have changed your life, you are sleeping. Guess what happened? The reason why you are sleeping, the reason why your financial life seems to be in a sleeping mode, because you have heard enough, but you have never practiced enough. You are not doing what you have heard. The doers, not the hearers. The doers, not the readers, shall be prosperous. So this is it. The way they train their children to do, you learn to do, you learn to practice. What have you learned? You learn to practice. I've told you, smell the leather. Some of you, you need to go to a brand new car shop and go and price a car, and then ask them to put you inside the car and just smell the leather. The brand 2022 model car, sit in it. You say, Tade, oh, I'm gonna do it. How am I gonna do it? You see, the ability to even go there alone and smell the car and sit in the car, it's going to liberate your future because the smell of it alone will give you a memory, and that's what you need to do. Some of you said, oh, I need to have a second stream of income. I need to start selling. I need to start practicing. I need to start selling. But guess what happened? You have never done anything about it. You have never taken the right step. Some of you say, come on, man, I want to write a book. This year, by before the middle of the year, I'm going to publish my book on my business, on my this. But the question is, you have not done anything about it. If you don't do anything, there's only one thing that will happen to you. Your life will stink. Your life will go down. So this is it. The guy that seems to be moving forward is not smarter than you, but take more action than you. All right? The guy that seems to be having more money may not have many ideas like you, but the few ideas that he has, it takes so much action on it, and life begin to respond to him. Most of you are very intelligent, but you're acting stupid about your intelligence. So you need to change that reality today. You need to begin to tell yourself the blunt truth about your life. They say the rich tell themselves the truth about wealth. The rich tell themselves the truth about their life. If you're broke, it's your fault. If you're rich, it's your fault. You need to tell yourself the truth. I'm here to tell you the truth that your pastor wouldn't tell you. I'm here to tell you the truth that mama wouldn't tell you. I'm here to tell you the truth that your lecturer don't know about. I'm here to tell you the truth. That the reason why you are broke is not because of the economy. The reason why you are broke is because you are not acting intelligently enough with your economy. Change your life, man. Change your life. Let me tell you, money is important. But much more than money, one of the education of the rich is that the rich take action. Another thing that the rich do is that they give themselves five inheritance. Five inheritance. And if you can give yourself these five inheritances, you can also transfer it to your children. The number one, that give themselves the inheritance of identity. What does that mean? You need to know who you are. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, you need to know who you are. You need to know who you are. You need to know who you are. If you don't know who you are, you can't be who you are. Hello. If you don't know who you are, you can't be who you are. If you don't know who you are, you can't be who you are. So you need to know you. You need to know you. Identity crisis is terrible. You need to know you. So the first inheritance you will give to yourself is inheritance of you. That's number one, identity. Number two, inheritance you give to yourself is an inheritance of divinity. You need to know who God is to you. By the way, who God is to you determine what God gives to you. This is not religion now. This is spirituality. You need to know who God is to you. Who is God to you? If you don't know who God is to you, anyone can scam you. By the way, one of the most common topic in the world today is the word God. People scam people with God, all right? Because God seems to be an absolute thought in our brain. So people scam people with thought. Now, one of the things that the truly education of the rich is that the education of the rich, people that give themselves and they give these inheritances to their children too. Number one is inheritance of identity. Number two is inheritance of divinity. The inheritance of divinity. Number three is inheritance of activity. They engage in activity that produces high income. Producing activity, they give it to them. They work on it. They learn the activity. They develop it. They develop a mastery. Number four is inheritance of assets. They have high income, skill, activity. Inheritance of assets. What does that mean? They invest in assets that produces income. Because they know that their bad economy awaits you if all your wealth is dependent on your strengths. Hello. Bad economy awaits you if all your wealth is dependent on your strength. Bad economy awaits you if all that you want to do to build massive wealth is your human strength. Your strength will fail. By no strength shall no man be rich. In other words, if you want to truly be rich, you need to learn how to convert your strength into income producing system. And that is what asset is. In other words, you need to give yourself an inheritance of asset. And finally, inheritance of personality. What does that mean? You need to know other people. Do not be sorrowful when people do not know you. Be sorrowful that you don't know people. Do not be sorrowful when people do not know you. Be sorrowful that you don't know people. In other words, you need to know people. You need to understand people. If you don't know them, you can influence them. If you don't know them, you can change them. If you don't know them, you can persuade them. So the inheritance of personality. You need to know people around you. You need to know the presence of whom you are standing. Some of you have missed out on big deal because you don't know who you're standing before. You need to give yourself these inheritances. By the way, if you're able to give yourself these inheritances, you'll be able to give it to your children. If you don't know who God is to you, you can transfer that understanding to your children. If you don't know who you are, how do you make your children know who they are? You can't do it. You can give what you don't have. So you need to know these things. In my last 10 years of studying the wealthy, in my last 10 years of practicing it, I've been able to literally change my life. And I've come to show you today that this is possible for anyone. I don't care who gave birth to you. I don't care where you were raised. I don't care if you're born in Nigeria. I don't care if you're born in Aja City. I don't care if you're born in Amukoko. I don't care if you're born in Ijesha. I don't care if you're born in Apapa. I don't care if you're born in Mushin. I don't care if you're born in Ondo State. I don't care if you're born in Ishon Ekiti. I don't care. I don't care where you're born. I care what get born inside of you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's key. Do you understand what I just shared with you? Fundamentally, these are the fundamental things that need to change your life. Finally, today I want to share with you something that will change you. You can attract wealth, and therefore you need to take something out of your brain. Forget about the market share. Market share is a dangerous word. The wealthy, the education of the rich, they don't think about market share. They think about market domination. You are not in this world to share market. You are in this world to dominate market. Guess what happened? There is a market where you can win, find it, and dominate it. So the rich thinks about domination. Now look at it. The rich don't think about dominating other people. The rich think about dominating their market. They think about dominating their influence. They think about dominating what they are creating and providing for other people. So this is what happened. Market share is a limited thinking. It means that it's not enough. We need to share it. There's nothing to share. There's much to create. Don't share the market. Create it. Create your own market, man. There is more than enough people looking for what to buy than people that are willing to sell. So you need to find your market. You need to define your market. You need to create it. You need to dominate it, because that's how you become rich. That is the education of the rich. The rich believe in an unlimited wealth. The rich believes that the wealth is unlimited. There is no scarcity of wealth. There is plenty of it in the planet. This is not a desert island. This is a land where there's plenty of money. There is money everywhere. Just drink what you want from it. We live in an ocean of abundance. This is not philosophy alone. This is practice. You need to get it into you and begin to practice it. There are people that say this but don't practice it. We live in an ocean of abundance where you don't need money, but money needs you. Because you know what? There is so much of it. Oh, money needs you. Money can't do without you. Money needs you like forever. Money seeks relevance from your activity. In other words, you need to know that there's plenty of money on the planet. Stop believing the bad news. By the way, stop reading the bad news. Do you notice that the media want to sell you the bad news every time? Do you know why they do that to you? Because bad news sells. They sell you the bad news because bad news is an attention-getting business. They want to sell you the bad news. Stop buying it, guys. Start selling the good news. Start telling the world about the good things you're doing. Start telling the world about the successes you will create. That's why you see, when you go on social media, you will see Elon Musk on Twitter. He will tell you about the new things he's doing. Elon Musk is not telling you about the bad news. Bill Gates is not telling you about the bad news. Dangote is not telling you about the bad news. Teddy Cash is not telling you about the bad news. You need to know the bad news is not for you. There are so many good news to go around. But you need to know that there is a market for bad news. That's why they're selling it to you. Why is it that when you tune into your crisis news network every single day, All they're telling you about is the bad news. When you go on your Al Jazeera, what they're telling you every day is bad news. Why so? Because they are selling their market. That is their market, guy. There are so many good news in the world, but you got to look for it. The wealthy are so optimistic about finding abundance, and they look for it every single day. So stop looking for bad news. Start telling your good news. You know, start telling your good news. So this is it. The education of the rich is something that you will literally use to change your life. I have come today to tell you about this. And I know from next week I'm going to start taking you on another journey. I needed to lay this foundation because you see, if you don't have an abundance in your mind, if you have to sell, you will not sell because you think there is no money in the world. If you're supposed to create another stream of income, you will wonder, where will I create another money? Some of you, you feel guilty for earning more. You feel like you think the world that people don't have more. Why am I going to be having more? You see, you're having more. Now, there's something I wrote in my note today. I think I should read this to you before I go because it will not make sense if I don't do this. So I said your wealth is addition for you, but is a subtraction to no one. All right. Your wealth is an addition to you, but it's a subtraction to no one. In other words, your abundance is not going to subtract from anyone's abundance. Because in this world, there is an unlimited version for everyone. So, what are you going to do today? What are you going to start doing? What kind of education are you getting? As you get your own education, begin to practice what you're learning. Let me tell you, in the early days of my life, I began to learn and I was not practicing. I was knowing things. I was acting. I was speaking intelligently, but I was acting stupid. You know what? Until I come to my senses and I tell myself, like a prodigal son, then let me return back to my father. And what do I mean by that? I begin to do it. I begin to verify it. I begin to prove it. I begin to tell myself, let me go and test this thing that I know, this thing that I've learned. Let me test it. And guess what happened? It's like a floodgate started opening the moment I began to practice it. The same thing will happen to you. Most of you learn, you read books, and you come on social media and you write. You write so intelligently, but you're still broke. Why are you broke? Because you don't practice those things you're writing. Come on, guys. It's time to change. I'll be right back and I will tell you the offer you have for you today. It could be a blessing to you and it could literally change your life. Don't need to go away. And if you have a question, after the break, it's time to ask me the question by hashtag question to Tadekash, and I will answer the question. And now we will say good night for today. We'll be right back.
Tade Cash. Tade Cash is a world-class cash flow entrepreneur. Tade Cash. Tade Cash is a world-class cash flow entrepreneur and investor, a super wealth coach, legendary closer, and an educator. He's a co-founder of more than 5 cash-rich businesses and believes that assets should be predictable, consistent, and perpetual income that funds our lifestyle. It shows individuals, companies, and nations how to unlock the hidden assets that would create perpetual, consistent, and predictable prosperity for them. He is the creator of the Short and Sell program and the Money Mastery program. He is the author of Shut Up and Collect the Money, the Money Mastery Revolution, Build Assets, Not Just a Business, as well as the Wealth Genotype. Ladies and gentlemen, join me as we welcome on stage Tade Cash.
Hi guys, welcome back. Thank you very much for hanging out with me tonight. This is 9:10, almost a couple of minutes after 9 WAT, right here in Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria, the biggest mega city on the continent of Africa. And this is live with you every Sunday Every Sunday I'm here with you, man. It's not always easy, bro. He's not always easy. I'm telling my producer today, maybe my producer should just change the time of the studio time, man, and make it earlier. My producer said he's nodding his head, like wagging his like, no, 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 no. It gotta be this time, man. It's really me, man. All right, guys. If you have any question for me tonight, from what you're learning, any question, just put hashtag question and ask me any question. Wealth, sales related, your personal economy related, how to create more offers, anything sales, anything income, anything persuasion, anything wealth creation, anything real estate investing. Ask me the question, man. I have a few minutes to answer you. Um, and that could be awesome. That could be awesome. By the way, let me tell you upfront what's going to be happening next week. Next week, I'm going to be doing what I call closers challenge. Closers challenge. What does that mean? In case you have been wondering, you have been having challenges with closing deals. You have been having challenges with getting people to buy your product. I am going to be doing what I call a closers challenge next Sunday. And what that means is that after next Sunday, for the next couple of days in the course of the week, you're going to be doing a challenge to close a deal once a week. Next week, you know what? If you have not read my book, Close or Lose, I think you need to pick it now because I'm going to start a series on that. Close or lose. But I'm going to, before I start a series, next Sunday is going to be about closers challenge. How to close people on your money, how to raise funds, how to use closing strategies to get people to do what you want them to do. And it's going to change your life. Next Sunday is about closers challenge. Closers challenge. How to collect money and get a giver to smile to you. All right, it's gonna be awesome. Now, any question for me? Okay, tell me what's it? Come on, man. All right, all right. So, thank you very much, Carabo. It's awesome. Now, this is it go to this guy is asking a question, and you must have seen it on the line there. Now, the truth of the matter is, it depends on your philosophy, it depends on your value. But this is what I said to people: if you take the bunch of money debt, your bad debt, you go back to normal and you get stranded. But this is what you need to do. There's what is called sinking fund. What does that mean? You can create a sinking fund. That means you pay down your debt by making sure that the money that you have is producing money, but make sure that it produces money and create a specific and strategic timing so that you can pay back your debt. But it's good to pay back your debt because debt is a money blockage. Too much of debt blocks your ability to attract abundance. So what you need to do is to pay back your debt, and it's awesome to do that. And I believe it's going to literally change your life. So pay back your debt, but create a sinking fund. That means ability to pay back gradually, but at the same time, while you are paying back your debt, make sure that you are raising your asset, you are raising your equity, and also need to understand what causes the debt in the first place. What causes the debt in the first place? What make you get into bad debt? You need to understand it so that you can clarify it. I think that will believe will change you. All right, any other question for me tonight? All right, tell me what's it? Okay, someone is asking, how do I ask for the offer from the client upfront? Okay, so I'm gonna be going deeper into that from next week, but this is how you can do it. It's very simple. Let me tell you, some of you, the reason why you are broke is because you don't make enough offers, and you need to keep making offers. And how do you make offers? It's not about the price. It's not about your size. It's about the payoff. It's not about the size, it's not about the price, it's about your payoff. What does that mean by that? What is the payoff that your offer is going to do in the life of the prospect? Now means the offer have to be this big, the price have to be this small. In other words, the offer is this big in value and this small in pricing. Guess what happens? People are willing to pay you. People don't pay you for your person. People pay you for your payoff. That means what is going to be their payoff from subscribing to you. Now, if you don't get that, you don't get it. So this is what happens. How do you make offer? I talk about in most of my sales training, I talk about CIA. What does that mean? Closing in advance. That means ability to close offer. How do you close offer? Let me give you a practical example of that. If somebody call you now and says, "Oh, maybe you're selling real estate, for instance, or somebody saw your advert as a network marketer and wanted to join your downline or you wanted to join your business, and then they call you and say, "Oh, how? What does it take to be? What does it take to be a member of this X and Y network?" Instead of you started talking like a parrot, you need to first do some qualification. What does that mean? You need to learn to qualify people. You need to learn to listen for with a purpose. You need to learn to listen to what is important to them. You need to learn to listen to what is paramount to them. What do they want to achieve in their life right now? If you learn to listen to those things, you can learn to make an offer upfront in their life. Because you see, offer is people buy offer, but we deliver with service. People come to you because of the offer you're making. So the question, what offer are you making to people? Now you can't make a proper offer to people if you don't truly listen to them. So you need to listen to people and you need to listen. I call it, I learned it. It's called listen based selling. You need to listen with the proper. One of these days I'm going to teach you listen based selling. And if you truly learn how to listen, you'll be enlisted in fortune. So that is it. Any other question? I hope I've been able to answer that. Now, tonight, I want to make another offer to you. It's a continuation of the offer. I've taught you about education of the rich. But you know what? There is a program I created a few months, about almost a year ago now, that have been literally changed hundreds of lives of people about 2 years now. They've literally changed lives of people. But guess what happened? The program is sold for about 120,000 naira. But I am giving it to you for the lifetime limited edition. Tonight is the last offer I'm going to make in this price. My team are complaining that I'm making it that low. But guess what happened? You can get education of the rich for, guess how much is that? 25,000 naira. That is not even up to $100. That's about less than that's about less than $50. That's about less than $50. You can make education, you can get education of the rich program for about $50. Guess what happened? And you can make it yours forever. You can make it yours forever. So what do you need to do? You need to subscribe right now. You will see the details on the screen. Subscribe for Education of the Rich. It's going for 25,000 a hand tonight. People have been subscribing for it since last week, and it has been amazing. But I want to also make you part of it. Learn the education of the rich. Learn to literally change your mind. And this program will be yours forever. It's just 25K. Subscribe to it right now, and you have access to this program forever. With the last 24 hours, you're going to have access to this forever. Subscribe to it right away. 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 The economy that sales cannot change does not exist. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. The economy that sales cannot change does not exist. In other words, you need to understand this. So you need to learn the education of the rich. You need to learn how the rich thinks about money. You need to know that the rich does not think about rate of returns. The rich thinks about infinite returns. You know what? But how do you learn that? How can you create infinite returns? How does the rich think about money? How does the rich think about asset? I put it all together in a program that lasted for about 2 days or 3 days, and then you can get it for almost free. 25,000 naira. All you need to do right now is to subscribe to it right away. Now go to it. And for the people that have subscribed to our 100 clients in 100 days, you're going to receive a mail from us this week, and that's going to tell you how we're going to have the indoor meeting in my office. And then we're going to host you. I am, what's the name again? Muyiwa Shimolowo. We're going to host you for 1 day, almost 6 hours, and I'm going to teach you an amazing ways of selling. One of the things I'm going to show you is the military linguistic pattern of sales, how you can make anyone to buy anything and they will be happy to pay you for it. And in case you have not subscribed, you need to do that right away. On the client and on the days. All right. It's going to change your life too. But this tonight, education of the rich, 25,000 instead of 150,000. This is the offer. This is a truly love offer. And then you need to go for it right away. Right now, pick it up right away. It's going to change your life. But you know what? It's all about you. If you think you don't want to master the education of the rich, this program is not for you. If you think you don't need it, you prefer to be where you are, this program is not for you. But if you believe you want to leave an inheritance for your children, irrespective of your gender, This program will help you. And I can assure you, this program, if you master it, can produce $1 million for you. And this is it. It means you pay nothing for it. Go for it right now, and it's going to change your life. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be signing up any moment from now. Thank you, my guy in the studio, Joshua the Josh man. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with me once again this Sunday evening. This is Sunday Cash Flow Service. My name remains Tade Cash, the legendary closer, the oracle of rental income investing on the continent of Africa. You know what? If you want to change your life, you have to change your life. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm signing out from this side of the world. Tade Cash is my name. Peace, love, and cash flow. Until I see you next week, keep winning, keep creating cash flow. I'll say, bye.